Good morning children, welcome back. In the previous video, we have seen about the hormones and characteristics of hormones, and also we have seen the coordination in plants. And today we are going to see about the more in detail about these hormones and endocrine system. So in previous video we have discussed the hormone, that is the hormone is a chemical messenger and it is secreted by the glands, and it is acts upon the targeted sites, and it is used in the acceleration or inhibition of a reaction, and generally it acts very slow but have a long lasting effects. Okay, so in detail now we will see the gland. What is gland? A cell, tissue or an organ that secretes hormone required for a specific function is called a gland. So you know the glands, that is pancreas, pituitary gland, thyroid gland, the gonads. Okay, these glands are mainly divided into two categories, that is endocrine gland and exocrine gland. So what are the exocrine glands? These glands possess ducts for the discharging their secretions into the body surface, and the endocrine glands do not discharge their secretions through the ducts. Ducts means what? They have a pipe. Okay, I'll give you an example over here. Okay, see, you can see a charger, correct? This is a, see here, this is a gland. Okay, assume that this is a gland. So what it is having? It is having a duct. Duct means a pipe. Okay, so here the hormone is, if you see the exocrine gland. Okay, if this is a exocrine gland, then it is having a duct. The hormone is secreted over here, and then it travels through the duct. And if we assume that if we assume that if we are having an organ located at a far distance from that gland. Okay, you can see that, see, I have kept a cotton over here. We can say that this is a gland, or this is an organ where we want this hormone to be traveled to this organ. Okay, so what we are going to do, the hormone will travel through this duct, and then this duct comes to that organ, and then the hormone is released in that organ. So this is known as exocrine gland. Exo means everything is happening outside the gland. Okay, and now what I'll do, I'll remove the duct. I'll keep this gland over the organ. Now what will happen? All the secretions are done in itself over the organ. Okay, the secretions are done over the organ. They do not need any duct to discharge the secretions. They directly secrete it into the blood, and this is known as endocrine gland. Endo means inside. They do not need any of the ducts to release or to discharge their secretions into the body surface. Okay, so see the examples of exocrine gland. The sebaceous glands present in the skin. Sebaceous glands means what? When you feel some oily over your skin. Okay, just rub your finger over the nose, or just rub your finger over your cheeks. What you feel? You feel some oily substance coming or secreting. So that is known as sebaceous gland, which secretes the oily substances, though that is present in the skin. Then salivary glands present in the buccal cavity. The gastric glands present in the walls of stomach are the few examples of exocrine gland. In the endocrine gland, they are also known as ductless glands, and they discharge their secretion directly into the bloodstream. Their secretions are known as hormones. And the pituitary gland, thyroid gland, etc. are the few examples of endocrine glands. And now we will see so you can see here the diagram over there. Your two human beings are present. The pineal gland is there, then hypothalamus is there, the pituitary gland is there, the thyroid gland present in the neck part, the parathyroid glands, then there is a thymus present below the parathyroid gland, then the adrenal gland is present, then there are the pancreas are there, the adrenals are present over the kidney, correct? The cone shape present over the kidneys are the adrenal glands, then the ovaries present in the female reproductive system, and the testes present in the male reproductive system. Okay, you just have to remember the names of these endocrine glands. So first endocrine gland we are going to discuss is pituitary gland. This is a very important and a master gland in your body. Okay, this is a master gland, or you can say the principal of a school, you can say. Okay, this is a principal of your body. Okay, he gives the order. Okay, go through there. You have to release this hormone, you have to stop this hormone. These all the bossing is done from this pituitary gland. It is a tiny gland located near the hypothalamus of the brain. It is known as a master gland, as functions of many other endocrine glands are regulated by the pituitary gland. You can remember this for the MCQ questions. Okay, and this gland is divided into two lobes, that is anterior lobe and posterior lobe. Anterior lobe is known as adenohypophysis and the posterior lobe is known as neurohypophysis. Hypophysis means pituitary gland. Okay, next there are the functions of pituitary glands. It influences the secretion of other glands like thyroid gland, mammary gland, gonads, etc. It controls the excretion of water from the kidneys and contraction of muscles of uterus. It also influences the development of testes and ovaries. It secretes the growth hormones that is involved in the growth and development of human body. This is a very important thing to remember in the pituitary gland, that is the growth hormone, how tall you can be. Okay, this is regulated by the pituitary hormone, the pituitary gland, sorry, it is regulated by the pituitary gland. If just imagine if your growth hormone is not maintained properly, okay, what will happen? There will be just growth is just going on and going on and going on. You will become a very giant human being. So this condition is known as your height will go on more than 6 feet 7 feet, then that is known as gigantism. This is characterized by the excessive growth and increase in height of a person. On the other hand, there is a no growth at all, that is a retarded growth, and this condition is known as dwarfism. An oversection of growth hormone in adults cause a disease called acromegaly, that is excessive growth of bones, that is jaws, nose, hands, legs. That is known as acromegaly. Okay, no need to go in detail, just remember the growth hormone is related to the pituitary gland. Next is a thyroid gland. Thyroid gland is situated close to the trachea in the neck. It secretes a hormone called thyroxine. It regulates carbohydrate, fat and protein metabolism in our body. So the thyroid gland regulates carbohydrate, fat and protein metabolism in our body. It indirectly affects the growth of the body by promoting growth and differentiation of tissues. Hence it is known as personality hormone. What is the thyroid gland secretes? Personality hormone, that is the thyroxine. And the thyroid diseases, that is the hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. When the thyroxine level goes down, it is known as hypothyroidism, and when it rises, that is known as hyperthyroidism. Next is a parathyroid gland. There are 4 parathyroid glands present on the back side of a thyroid gland that secretes parathyroid hormone or parath hormone, that is PTH. This hormone regulates the level of calcium ions in the bloodstream. Okay, you can remember the parathyroid for calcium level. The deficiency results in the painful muscle cramps. On other hand, its oversecretion removes calcium from the bones, making them soft and spongy. Okay. Next is the adrenal gland. The adrenal gland, that is the suprarenal gland. Renal is known as kidney. So suprarenal, that is present over the, that is the interior part of the kidneys. Each adrenal gland consists of two parts, that is outer cortex and inner medulla, that is cortex and medulla. The cortex secretes two hormones, that is aldosterone and cortisol, while the medulla secretes adrenaline and non-adrenaline, or epinephrine or non-epinephrine. In case of danger, you can or the emergency or stress, adrenaline is secreted in large quantities. That is, when the exams approach, what is secreted in your body? Adrenaline is secreted to prepare the body to face the situation. For this reason, it is also known as emergency hormone. This hormone is secreted even in normal situations but in small quantities. Adrenaline is secreted directly into the blood and is transported to different parts of the body. The specific tissue or organs on which this hormone acts also includes heart. This results in faster heartbeats, hence more oxygen is supplied to the muscles. The breathing rate also increases due to contractions of the diaphragm and the rib muscles. In conclusion, you can remember that the adrenaline is an emergency hormone which is secreted by the adrenal gland, and where you become, whenever your body is in the excited state or very nervous state, the adrenaline is secreted. Okay, see the picture over there, the kidneys are present and the upper part of the kidneys is covered by the adrenaline gland. Next is the pancreas. Pancreas is a mixed gland, that is both exocrine also and endocrine also. And then there are the cells present in the pancreas. Those are known as islets of Langerhans, and they secrete two hormones, insulin and glucagon. Insulin regulates the blood sugar level in the human body. It increases the permeability of cell membrane for glucose and accelerates the passage of glucose into the cells from the bloodstream. That is the diffusion of glucose into the bloodstream. How much glucose should be dissolved in the blood is regulated by the insulin. And in case of deficiency of insulin, the level of glucose in the blood increases and is excreted through the urine. This condition is also known as diabetes mellitus. Okay. Other symptoms of disease include frequent urination, the thirst. The treatment of diabetes includes the oral pills or injection of insulin. The glucagon. Now, what is glucagon? Glucagon is antagonistic hormone. Antagonistic means what? If insulin increases, glucagon decreases. If glucagon increases, that is the glucose. If glucose level is high, then the you can see over there. If it is the insulin is secreted in the blood when blood glucose level is low, then what it happens, the glucagon is secreted. It helps in conversion of glucagon into the glucose. This glucose is released into the blood and supplied to the tissues. What exactly is happening? Okay, see, when there is a lesser amount of glucose in your body needs glucose for the many mechanisms and many reactions. So what does happen when there is low level of glucose? The glucagon is secreted by the pancreas, and this glucagon is converted into the glucose, and then this glucose is used in the reactions. Okay, see the pancreas, the location of pancreas. Okay, now the next part is gonads. Gonads means what? The testes and the ovaries, the reproductive organs, are both involved in producing gametes and are also endocrine glands in function. The testes secrete the testosterone and the ovaries secrete estrogen and progesterone. That is the male sex hormones and the female sex hormones. Testosterone is known as the male sex hormone, and the estrogen and progesterone is known as the female sex hormones. Now, the testosterone is responsible for growth and development of male secondary sexual characters, that is the beard, the mustache, then the broad chest, then you can see the growth of your secondary sexual characters, or you can say the primary sexual characters also, or the growth of the sex organs. Okay, the deficiency of testosterone results in under sexed individuals whose masculine characteristics are not properly developed. That is, the feminine characters are more dominant in those persons. Then the estrogen is responsible for development of secondary sexual characters in females, like development of mammary glands and etc. The deficiency of estrogen causes infertility, that is, they cannot give birth to a child. Then progesterone helps in regulation of menstrual cycle and maintaining the pregnancy. Okay, you can see over here the gonads, that is, the first one is the ovary, the uterus is there, the cervix is the opening of uterus, then there are the ovaries, fallopian tubes over there, and the second part is the gonads. There's the male reproductive system, the penis is there, the epididymis, the testes, and the scrotum is a bag in which the testes are suspended. Okay, so there's a mechanism in our body which regulates the hormones. Okay, so there's a feedback mechanism. Okay, feedback means what the gland secretes the hormone, okay, to a certain organ, then if it does it keep on secreting the hormone? No, at some point the organ says, okay, I'm done with this hormone, now I don't want this hormone, now I want to stop this secretion. Then the negative feedback starts, that stop this secreting hormone. This is known as feedback mechanism. So the example here you can see is of glucose level in the body. The glucose present in the blood broken down to produce energy required for the body. If it is present in excess amount in the body, then it is converted into glycogen. Okay, so if glucose is present in the abundant amount in our body, it is converted into the glycogen and it is stored in our body. Now, how does the body knows when to convert glucose into the glycogen, or when to break down glycogen into glucose? Body must know. Then when should I convert this glucose into the glycogen and glycogen into the glucose? So hormones control most of these reactions. How is it timing and quantity of hormones released and regulated? Is there any mechanism to control the system? Yes. The endocrine glands secrete hormones depending upon the need of the organism. The amount of hormones secreted should be in the accurate amount. The regulation and of the quantity of hormones and the timing of its release are controlled by the feedback mechanism. And there are two types of feedback mechanism. There is a positive and the negative feedback mechanism. In the positive feedback mechanism, the response accelerated after the feedback. The effect is further intensified in the same direction. It helps in speeding up the process occurring in various body systems. It is opposite of negative feedback. In short, you can remember that I want the hormone. Then the positive feedback is started. Now, in negative feedback, the information given by the feedback causes reverse response. It occurs when system needs to slow down or completely stop a process. Negative feedback means what? Okay, now I don't want this hormone. Then the negative feedback starts its loop. Now he tells the gland that please stop releasing this hormone. This is known as negative feedback. So children, here we have completed our lesson, that is control and coordination. In this chapter we have studied about the nervous system. The nervous system consists of central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, autonomic nervous system. In detail we have studied about the central nervous system, that is the brain parts, the forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain, and then we have got the spinal cord, which consists of the white matter and the grey matter. Then there are the nerve fibers connected to it. Then we have seen the movements or the control and coordination in the plants. Then there are the growth independent movements and growth dependent movements over there. The growth independent movements are known for the nastic movements. Then we have the tropic movements over there, which depends upon the light, the water. Then the geotropic, that is the presence of it depends upon the gravitation. Okay, next we have studied about the spinal cord, which consists of the reflex action. Then there is a reflex arc mechanism, how the reflex is given and how we get the response. In the last video, then we have seen about the hormones or the endocrine glands are present, and which are the endocrine glands present in our body and the functions of them, and how those hormones work in our body. That is with the help of feedback mechanism. They have the positive feedback mechanism and the negative feedback mechanism. Okay, here we have completed our chapter. Please read the chapter carefully. Please practice the diagrams which I have given in this video. Okay, and also which are present in the textbook. That is the diagram of brain, the spinal cord, the cross section of spinal cord, then the reflex arc. These diagrams are important for the labeling. Okay, rather than drawing, they mostly come for the labeling part. Okay, so you have to practice for to draw also, and you don't have to be so decorative or something. You can just draw the outlines of it, and the labeling part is very very important. Remember the tricks which I have given to remember the functions of the parts of the brain and the spinal cord also. Okay, and remember or the read and practice the diagrams. I'm repeating again, please practice the labeling part of the diagrams and the functions and the parts of the brains and spinal cord given. Okay, thank you children.